surrounded by hatred and trapped by fear. I'm in a box. I've got no place to go. If I follow my mind, I know I slaughter my own. Help me, I'm the prisoner. Won't you hear my plea? I need somebody, yeah, to listen to me. I beg you, brothers and sisters, I'm counting on you, yeah. Black babies in the womb, shackled and bound, chained by the caveman who keeps beauty down, smacked on the ass when they're squalling and wet. And to us mindless man who never forgets, never forgets that he's a prisoner. Can't you hear my plea? 'Cause I need somebody, Lord knows, to listen to me. I'm a stranger to my son who wonders why his daddy runs, yeah. to work in the morning when I don't give a damn. Can't nobody see just who in hell I am. Hemmed in by a suit, yes, or choked up in a tie. Ain't no wonder sometimes in the morning I hear my woman cry. She knows her man is a prisoner. Won't you hear my plea? Yeah, 'cause I... Greetings, peace, and love, and welcome once again to the N.E.P.P.C podcast, aka the Northeast Political Prisoner Coalition podcast. I'm Brother Frank, and with my brother and former political prisoner,
Abdul, Haqq.
Yes, today's focus is again Mumia Abdul, just as we spoke last week about Mumia and the right we had, well, the obligation that is to bring him home. We're expecting Pam Afrika, who's been spending a majority of her life fighting to bring Mumia Abdul home. We're supposed to be hearing from her at around 12:15. But we want to dedicate this episode again to Mumia and all comrades who have been joining the fight to free Mumia. As he spent over 40 years now in prison, he just made 68 years old. He's still dealing with a number of medical issues, but he's strong. His spirit is strong, and I think that we need to learn a lot from Mumia because he's a long-term revolutionary. He does not shy away from the term revolutionary because he understands that the system is fundamentally flawed and it cannot correct itself. The people have to organize themselves to stand up to this system and decide what type of system that needs to be in play that's going to advocate for them, meaning the working class people, and what the importance of that. Because if we think about what's going to happen by what we do today, we're going to think about what we're going to pass down to the next generation. As I said last episode, and we'll continue to say, is that what was being done by a number of organizations like the Black Panther Party organization, and the state had attacked them and prevented them from achieving their desired outcome. We see that our generation and the generation even before, our generation, let me just stick to that, has to deal with more of the problems because of what the state did to the Black Panther Party. Abdul Haqq.
Peace and love, brothers and sisters. Again, we celebrate Mumia. We commemorate Mumia. We call for his freedom. Show him some love. Mumia, in the town of Philadelphia, a lot of us, through the American educational system, was sentenced to the life imprisonment of a long white con game that they played, in the classrooms, where they say Philly was a city of brotherly love. And that's one thing I was hoping Sister Pam could speak on, tell us it's a city of brotherly love, but the folks who grew up there knew it's the opposite. You dig? And they had a mayor at the time of Mumia's arrest called Frank Rizzo, straight up fascist, a racist, the crown prince of all pigs, and a very, very brutal police department. There's a film clip we're going to play by Mumia where they talked about how the pigs dropped a firebomb on MOVE headquarters, knowing there was children in there, and murdered several people, including 6 babies. You know, this is the Philly, the city of brotherly love, you know, and they play us like chumps, you know, talking about these human rights and their humanity and how much justice we're going to get, you know. And in this podcast, we're going to talk about the intellectual prowess of Mumia Abu-Jamal. And we call on brothers and sisters out there, you know, in the listening audience to awaken the genius in you, you understand, through your self-education, you know, because you get in a long white con game when you sit up in these classrooms, which ain't nothing but prison cells, you know, and they try to restrict Mumia's ability to educate himself and to communicate with the masses. They hate the truth, you know, and they hate the idea that the truth will be spoken. You know, they don't want you to talk too much about between 20 and 100 million Native Americans murdered, you understand, as they ripped off this land. Armed robbery, you know, which they call liberty, you know, right now in Africa, you know, NATO behind several regime change from imperialism happening right this minute in the Congo since 1994, between 6 and 12 million people murdered by agents of imperialism over a mineral called coltan. Coltan is a mineral which makes all your electronic devices, where your computers, your cell phones, your electronic devices, it makes them work, you know, and people have been murdered over this mineral by the USA, you know, by people working for the USA. South Africa, they had a big fight for freedom there. The U.S. was behind apartheid, so they don't want the truth to be told. And Mumia, you understand, had a dedication to tell the truth, you know. And in the Quran, it says, we hurl truth against falsehood and knock its brains out, you know. So read Mumia Abu-Jamal's writings. He's got this one coming out called Murder Incorporated, talking about America. You understand? America is a straight up gangsters, you know. And you know, we should not try to fashion ourselves against this beast. You understand? We should resist this beast and stand up to this oppressor fearlessly. You understand? Tirelessly. So Frank, you want to go on and run that film clip now? This is Mumia speaking on the bestiality of the U.S. and the Philadelphia Police Department.
Okay, 13. In a matter of hours, the calendar will ring in May 13th, and it will mark the 35th year since the massacre on Mother's Day, 1985, when police, armed with military weapons, bombed a house in southwest Philadelphia, known by neighbors as the Move House. In the smoldering embers of the aftermath, 11 men, women, and children would be dead, martyrs of the Move organization. The only person to be criminally prosecuted for this catastrophe would be Ramona Afrika, who barely escaped dying in the house, her arms permanently scarred by the red tongues of fire that bit her as she left the building, only to enter prison for the next 7 years. The bombers, the cops, they got pay raises, promotions, and pensions for bombing a home and the burning of over 60 houses. In a matter of hours, the city's first black mayor, Wilson Good, now a preacher, will apologize and ask his city to do the same. The city's once DA, Eddie Rendell, now protests the long draconian sentences that Move members were given that as governor, he was fully empowered to reduce their sentences during his 8-year stint and did nothing. The carnage of May 13th, 1985 wasn't just another Philadelphia story. It flashed across the nation and leaped literally around the world to tell the story of carnage everywhere in the world. Right-wing repressive forces and figures like former LAPD chief Daryl Gates hailed the action, calling good his hero, and it ushered in an era of repression that was enshrined into the phenomenon of mass incarceration, with today millions under lock and key. That era, that energy, needs to be repudiated once and for all. From imprisoned nation, this is Mumia, Abdul, Jamal.
Brothers and sisters, y'all heard that that atrocity occurred May 19th. This speech by Mumia was last year, the 15th anniversary. May 19th is coming up again. Today is May the 4th. So that anniversary is coming up again, and like Mumia said, none of the police officers was charged with anything. They all got away scot-free. So this reminds us of Mississippi in the 1950s, in the 1940s and 1950s, when white folks could murder black folks in front of 100 witnesses, you understand, and get away with murder. So they got away with murder in Philadelphia, and we had a Negro mayor. So this pipe dream about we get some colored people in office, we be all right. You understand? When you got a bootlicking Negro, you understand, who was behind this atrocity, this makes you know that this myth of working within the system, that they ain't worth two dead flies. That we got to work as revolutionaries outside the system to raise the consciousness of the masses, to put the pressure on these folks, until we can throw this system into the garbage can of history, to put the pressure on the system, to make them pretend that they're human beings, because that's the game they play. Like I said, in school, in this miseducation they give us, they tell us that Philly was a city of brotherly love, to rock us to sleep, so we won't stand up and oppress, that we won't stand up against oppression, that we'll go along with it, and walk around waving American flags, you understand, which is a dunce cap on the head, stuff, wearing an American flag scarf is a dunce cap on your head, which blinds you to the reality, to the truths, the type of truths that Mumia talked about, and that's why they hate him so much, And we got a clip ready of Sister Pam Afrika, a bad sister. I remember I was in a rally one time with Pam, and there was some construction workers up on a scaffold. They threw a can down. Pam took the microphone and said, MF, you throw one more thing up there, we all go climb up there and throw all of you blankly blanks off that scaffold down to the ground. A bad sister. So here's a few words from Sister Pam.
Yeah, we apologize for her not being able to call right now. We had some communication difficulties. That'll be resolved another time. Mm-hmm. But here's a clip of her speaking about 9 years ago.
Listen to this voice. They feel this voice.
On the move. On the move.
Listen to this voice here.
Long live revolution. I want to thank this minister. Is this working? Okay. I want to thank the minister and the church. And one thing, standing in this church makes me think of a strong black political prisoner, one of the most well-known. I'm not talking about Mumia Abdul this time. I'm talking about Jesus Christ.
That's right.
He was
The
one
local
of the
prisoner.
most well-known political prisoners that there is. I'm talking about
to the
John the
book.
Baptist, another political prisoner. I'm talking about Sundiata Kohli, a political prisoner. Jamil Alameen, a political prisoner. Merle Africa, Janet Africa, Sue Africa, Ramona Africa, Pamela Africa. What we're saying to people is we must remember our history and place it properly and give titles to people that are very fitting. We cannot forget political prisoners. And a lot of times we forget them because we don't place them in the right time, in the right place. And people who came before us, if people understood fully that that brother, Jesus Christ, was a political prisoner who spent his last days on death row and was murdered by the government of that time. Why was this man murdered? He wasn't murdered by an angry mob. He was murdered by the government who framed people who what? Stand up and fight this government. That's what happened to Sundiata Kohli and all the other political prisoners. These brothers and sisters are in jail because they have a love for us and an understanding that from the cradle to the grave, you must fight. You must never give in. These brothers and sisters on the inside of the prison continues that battle, just like Jesus Christ. He didn't bow down. He didn't suck up. He didn't pretend to be a phony. This brother drug cross up Mount Sinai, up that mountain. He was Calvary, okay? Calvary. This brother was beaten as he went up there. The movie that the last that one was done, that they showed how they viciously beat this brother, because never before. What was the actor who did that movie? Mel Gibson. I'm saying, people for years saw that, heard of it, but they never saw the beating. And when people actually saw the reality of that beating, people were horrified because it was always shown, little sticks and little stones. They tortured that brother. You know what it reminds me of? Shaka Kofa. Only thing Shaka Kofa, and I want to talk about death row because that Mumia is no longer on death row. Don't mean our fight has stopped. Can you hear me? We must continue to fight for them brothers and sisters that are on death row. Shaka Kofa, Tookie Williams, Zion Israel, Troy Davis, all murdered with evidence of innocence by a government. And you know what? While we're here, let's talk about this presidential race. Why do we allow these people to run for office and we don't demand nothing? Nothing. How come the cry isn't free political prisoners? They will leave here and go all the way across seas some darn where to free a political prisoner. But those who fight for us right here, our freedom fighters, they don't even act like they exist. We must demand. How many people signed the petition? How many people signed the petition? I think we better get busy, brothers and sisters. Pass the petitions around. Make sure everybody in here sign those petitions. Make sure everybody know. Get on your phones and on your Twitter, tweet, whatever it is that people do in this electronic world, and let them know that we must do a march on Como. Is that the dude's name? Right. You know what I'm saying? These people got to feel us. They got to see us. Phone calling is good, but they must see us. The power that we possess is in this room. The fear is what you don't see in this room. Is ABC here? CBS here? WHYY? NPR here? I bet you they're not. But why? Because they know the power in this room, and their bosses don't want other people to see what's here. But we already knew that. We knew that. It is our job to go out and educate other people. Let me tell you briefly how this program was pulled together. Okay, I can't see that. 1 minute. Mark Lamont Hill wanted a book party after we did December 9th. And he wanted Angela Davis, he wanted Cornell, he wanted Michelle Alexander. And when he said it to Suzanne, I said, he out of his mind. How are we going to get all these people here for a book party? And but Suzanne took and flipped the whole scene. We had a book party. We got all these people here because these people love our people, and they wanted to make sure people understand what's going on. And the book party turned out to be the fight to expose what was happening in Attica. And it also meant that we had to do something and another way to bring everybody together, to energize. Do you feel energized tonight? This is what the purpose of this meeting was, to bring people together and to make you understand, those who already understand and those who are new coming in. We got some work to do, because those mass incarcerations is not for criminals, because if it was, the now president, the president after, before, they will all be in jail for war crimes. The prisons are built for people who are in an uprising about the illegal raping, murder, killing, illegal jailing, the poisoning of the water, the poisoning of the air. I'm saying we have got to get ourselves together and fight. Now, that's what this meeting was about. And when you leave here, you will be truly educated on what you can do, what you must do. And downstairs in the larger room, we had all the different organizations that deal with social injustice platforms there, so you can join them, so you can get information. And this wasn't a social gathering of la la and a big clap, for different people. We are serious. These people are preparing to kill each and every last one of us. And we must rise up now. Rise up and fight. Fight in every way that you can. As Malcolm said, by any means necessary. Any means necessary. Rise up. What you are equipped to do, get ready to do it, because they're doing it. On the move. Love your revolution. Stand up. Get up. If you want to fight, get up. If you want to fight with a pen. If you want to fight through prayer. But stand up. Get on your feet. Stand up. Fight. 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 And never give up. Pam Afrika.
Never give up. Never give up. Pam Afrika. Pam Afrika.
Yeah, so that was Pan Africa about 9 years ago in the church. And I think that says a lot about what needs to be done regarding the work on freeing political prisoners. She said that's serious work. We're not here to just be gathering around and having fun and socializing with each other. We're here to inspire one another to work. That's why me and Abdul Haqq, we make a commitment to producing these episodes every Wednesday from the hours of 12 to about 12:45 or 12:30. depending on if we feel like everything has been discussed and covered. So we asking people who are listening to please share with 10 people. Consider making a donation of $10 a month or even $5 a month, whatever you have, because we understand the struggles of everyday people, working class people, and we understand that you have things that you have to do. But please don't forget about political prisoners. I think Pam laid everything down. And once again, we apologize for not having her live on the phone because what she said
That was live.
yeah, that was live. It was live. You're right. The spirit was fire.
Fire.
Yeah.
Fire.
And that was 9 years ago. And, you know, there ain't no expiration date to what was said. And I think that that's very important because we need to really look at what's going on currently. And we still have to dissect it historically. So 9 years ago, she said that. 9 years from now, if Mumia is not home, then we have even more work to do because he can't die in prison. And that's why we always say that political prisoners should not die in prison. And we say don't let political prisoners die in prison because it's our responsibility. As Sundiata Cody said, the state don't release political prisoners, the people do. I'm sorry, Haqq, you had something to say, brother?
Yeah, right on with what Sister Pam said. Rise up, fight. Get that fight in you. You understand? With the ferocity of the Black Panther.
Absolutely.
Get that fight in you. You understand?
Absolutely.
She said that these enemies that try to tell you what to think, that try to control your thought processes, to try to determine what type of person you're going to be. You understand? These are war criminals, and you cannot believe what war criminals tell you. You cannot believe those who have murdered 500 million people. You understand? Rape, robbery, oppression, mass murder. You can't believe one thing they say. You got to investigate everything they say. Study the history of the colonizer. Or go online, or go to the library, or to the university, and look up the atrocities of colonialism. You understand? To know who these people are. War criminals. Right now, she talked about the environment, the pollution. You understand? The climate change. These type of things. You understand? It was estimated by scientists that if you don't stand up for your life, that in 35 years, all of y'all gonna be dead because of climate change. If you don't stand up, for your life, and stand up for your life includes a big part of standing up for your life is fighting for the freedom, you understand, of our generals, of our leadership, those who are foremost, you understand, in their humanity, expressing their full humanity to stand up against mass murderers, against oppressors, against torturers, you understand, against beasts. You understand? That's a great part of our war, of our campaign, of our responsibility. It's your responsibility to stand up and to fight for the freedom of those, you understand, who will go fearlessly into war. Right now, this oppressor, through NATO, through trying to enhance the ability of NATO, who has been a chief oppressor in Africa, you understand, enables corporations to steal $60 billion a year from the African continent. They're leading to World War III. They're on the path to World War III. And I looked it up. You understand? You want to know what an atomic blast would feel like on your skin? Think about your skin being cooked alive, and the temperature on your skin from an atomic blast, 17,000 degrees. You understand? So, as you don't stand up against that, are you going to fight against that, or are you just going to lay down like some lambs? You understand? On your back. You understand? Land for the slaughter, and just let them in your life. Stand up. Stand up for those who fight for us. Free our political prisoners. Free them all.
Free them all. Indeed, and I think that everything that we needed to say has been said. And as we come to an end with this episode, we ask that those who are viewing for the first time understand the importance of this work, because the history of political prisoners is very, very, very long. You know, since the first African slave resisted his imprisonment, he was a political prisoner. And we look at Martin Luther King; he was a political prisoner. We look at Nelson Mandela; he was a political prisoner. Sekou Odinga; he was a political prisoner because of his position politically. And the Northeast Political Prisoner Coalition has been existing since 2015. It was done by organizer people of other organizations, and we have had them involved with demonstrations, community work. Me and Abdul Haqq was in Queensbridge giving out free masks, and also with our brother in the struggle, Sugar Ray, as he gave out some free food. He allowed us to have a platform on that, and I thought that that was very important. So that's the idea that we're putting out there in the community about political prisoners. You can catch us in Queensbridge talking to people about political prisoners. We're going to be out in Queensbridge. Well, I'll be out in Queensbridge this Friday at about 6 o'clock. So if you happen to see me, don't be no stranger. Talk to me, and I love to engage with you about political prisoners. And you know, Sundiata Kohli had an open letter to the community of Queensbridge about them assisting him, asking them to assist in him coming home, because the state don't fully free political prisoners, the people do. So
Right.
it's very important for us to get involved, because we can't let them die in prison. I think that's everything that we had to say, and we're gonna continue to fight this fight, and we'll see everybody next week.
Right. Free them all.
Free them all.
Free them all.
And now, before we get out of here, words from our brother.
Your one. She's like, Michael, it is time that you guys organize a fund to set aside to help people who sacrifice for our freedom. Meaning, every time something happens, I hear this. Why don't the gang bangers jump up and do something for us? Why don't you kill them? You kill each other. And I say to myself, when is the last time you sent money to Assata Shakur? When is the last time you sent money to Matulu Shakur? When is the last time you sent money to Mumia Abu-Jamal or Larry Hoover or Jeff Ford or Leonard Peltier? When is the last time you have made it your business to send money to a revolutionary or a hoodlum that has helped us? And until we start to do that, how can we ask these young men to be warriors? Because if they do it in the name of the hood, at least the hood gonna honor their name always. At least the hood gonna make sure at least their children got something or their mama's house is looked after as a community. If we're going to ask people to bungee jump for us with no cord, be prepared to take care of them when they get a life sentence. Be prepared to look after their families. See, I don't mind the work getting done, but let's take care of the workers. Let's stop asking more out of people than we would do for ourselves. So what I'd like to see, my dream thing, is to see 1 million people from the culture dedicate $10 a month. That's $10 million a month, $120 million a year toward taking care of civil rights leaders who have worked on our behalf and are elderly now and don't have to take care of themselves, like Rosa Parks, who was paid by the owner of Little Caesars Pizza. We should have had a fund to make sure that she never had to worry about that again in her life. We should have a fund that makes sure money makes it to Assata Shakur, and Matulu Shakur has legal representation and food, and Leonard Peltier, who has diabetes in jail, can get insulin taken care of. And until we start doing it, $10 a month is about what you pay on a couple fast food restaurant visits. So if 1 million of us do that for the rest of our life, look at how well we'll be taking care of the people that we're asking to sacrifice on our behalf.
I agree. And recently